Brilliance Audio.
An Act of Foul Play by E Kinsey, performed by Elizabeth Nolden. I've never been entirely sure of the reason for the interval at the theatre. Is it that the actors desperately need a rest after all that standing about and talking? Do all the audience members really need to visit the insufficiently provisioned toilets? Can no one survive an extra hour without a glass of disappointing wine? It was Lady Hardcastle's birthday, and she had invited her Bristol friends to join her for a celebratory meal at Le Quai, a French restaurant which had opened in the city at the end of the summer and had instantly become the place to eat. Among the invitees was our suffragette friend, Lady Bickle, who had further suggested that we begin the evening with a trip to see her friend's play, which was being performed to enthusiastic reviews at the Duke's Theatre. And so it was that our party had descended upon Frogmore Street in our finery to join Bristol's theatregoers in an evening of riotously mirthful entertainment, as the Bristol News's critic had put it. He wasn't wrong. By the interval, I found that I'd been laughing so much that my cheeks were hurting, and I was glad of the rest. Perhaps that's what intervals are for after all, though it wouldn't explain the need for them during a melodrama or a morality tale. Whatever the justification for the break, as the curtain fell on the first act, the laughter and applause died down and almost everyone rose to leave. I found myself alone in the box as my companions joined the crush to exit the auditorium to meet their own intermissionary needs. Lady Bickle and her husband, Sir Benjamin, set off for the bar. Inspector Sunderland and his wife, Dolly, didn't announce their intentions, which I took to mean that they were bound for the lavatories. Local journalist Dinah Caudle and her fiancé, Dr. Gosling, the police surgeon, mulled their options for a short while before they, too, decided on the bar. Lady Hardcastle, of course, wanted both. "Are you coming, Flo?" she said. "I'm fine, thank you," I said with a smile. "I might get up and stretch my legs in a bit." "As you wish, dear." She joined the others. I swapped seats for a better view and leaned forwards on the padded rail to look about the auditorium. The Duke's Theatre was a decent size, but it somehow still managed to have a pleasing intimacy. It was a wonderful building, and I had always loved going there, most especially when the show was a good one. And this one had been utterly joyous so far. Lady Bickle's friend, Hugo Bartlett, was a splendidly funny writer, and the cast brought his words to life with such wonderful skill that I hadn't wanted the first act to end. The safety curtain was down, concealing the source of the bangs and clatters coming from the stage and making them all the more intriguing. In truth, I knew they were just evidence of the hard work of the unseen, underappreciated stagehands, but I liked to imagine something a little more mysterious. The Sunderlands were the first to return. "That was quick," I said. "There was a queue," said Mrs. Sunderland. I nodded. There was always a queue. There were more clatters and rumbles from behind the safety curtain. "I've always wondered what goes on back there," said Inspector Sunderland as he took his seat. "You must have an idea, Miss Armstrong. Circuses and theatres can't be as different as all that." "I don't suppose they are," I said. "In which case, I imagine that horny-handed sons of toil are hefting furniture and scenery about, then holding it all down with 28-pound cast-iron weights, which they probably drop." There was another massive bang. "Like that?" "What an exciting life you've led," said Mrs. Sunderland. "I do envy you sometimes, you know." "It's had its moments," I said. "It most certainly has," she agreed. "You've done so many wonderful things and travelled to so many wonderful places. I've never been further from home than Brighton." "We went there for our honeymoon," explained the inspector. Mrs. Sunderland touched his hand. "And what a lovely time we had," she said. "But I'd still love to visit some of the places you and Emily talk about." "I've been very lucky," I said. "The only disadvantage is that I have to do it all in the company of you-know-who." Mrs. Sunderland laughed. You are dreadful, she said. I've never met two better friends.